President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has reaffirmed his government's commitment to supporting the youth in promoting peace across the country. In a message delivered on his behalf by the Minister of State for Youth and Children Affairs during the National Youth Peace Walk 2026 in Kampala, the President also cautioned young people against engaging in immoral behavior. He encouraged them to embrace innovative ideas that can drive national transformation. Speaking at the same event, Ian Bernard Chikomego, the coordinator of the Voices of Peace movement, expressed appreciation to the President for his continued support and for accepting the role of patron of the movement. He pledged the organization's commitment to mobilizing youth across the country to champion peace and focus on national building initiatives.
I want to thank the coordinator of Voices for Peace movement, Mr. Chikomeko Ian Bernard, for inviting me to take part in the National Peace Walk today. I have not been able to join you physically due to early scheduled national engagements. However, I have delegated Barugara Balam, the minister, to represent me and deliver my keynote address to the youth taking part in the walk. I applaud the Voices of Peace for mobilizing the young people from across the country with the aim of fostering unity among them and orienting them towards working for socio-economic transformation of their families and development of Uganda. The National Resistance Movement believes in the potential of youth to contribute to the national development if they can remain healthy and attain the proper education, skills, attitude, and ideas. The NRM government remains focused on building a youthful workforce that is healthy, educated, skilled, with the right ideology orientation. The NRM interventions to improve access to maternal health service, the mass immunization campaign against the killer disease, have significantly reduced the infant mortality rates. The youth of the NRM are fully vaccinated. This explains the rise in population from 14 million Ugandans in 1986 to 46 million people today. Similarly, life expectancy has risen from 43 years in 1986 to 65 years now. We are now reaping dividends from the universal primary education, universal secondary education policies which were introduced earlier. Uganda's literacy rate now stands at 80%, raised from 43% in 1986. This is a phenomenal achievement. However, there is a need to bridge the gap in education system, which is largely oriented towards white-collar jobs. The teachers, parents, and guardians should help the young people to select courses in science fields, e.g., medicine, engineering, nursing, computing, etc. The mismatch between the education system and the job market in the private sector accounts for the high rates of unemployment among the young people. Therefore, there is need to align the universal and tertiary courses with the requirements of the private sector. This is because the private sector is the biggest employee. Its capacity to create employment opportunities is vast and unlimited, especially in a country like Uganda, which boasts of right policies and infrastructure to guarantee profitability on investment of business enterprises in commercial agriculture, industry, service, and ICT. Besides being healthy, educated and skilled, the youth should also uphold correct ideas, principles that will propel your country's prosperity and stability. If you are to hold bankrupt ideas like sectarianism, nepotism, gender chauvinism, racism, achism, etc., then you are a liability to society. Your youthfulness is a biological advantage because it means you have more vigor and energy to accomplish the tasks. However, this is not enough. Biology alone cannot take you far if you are ideologically bankrupt. The NRM ideology, which were evolved after careful diagnosis of Uganda's problem, prescribes 4 principles of patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy. Patriotism means unity within Uganda so as to ensure our prosperity and security. Pan-Africanism promotes unity in East Africa and Africa. in order to guarantee the same prosperity and security even better. The unity of the market of Uganda is not enough to guarantee our prosperity. A bigger market means greater prosperity. A strategic security to defend our sovereignty against imperialists. However, to benefit from the Pan-Africanism and from Uganda's unity, the society must undergo a group metaphysis, a socio-economic transformation. This involves lifting the population from subsistence farming to modern money economy. This is why NRM is prioritizing the health and job creation campaign in order to address the challenge of the poverty at the household level. We should not have spectators in the drive towards increasing household income. Finally, I urge the young people to stay healthy in order to make a meaningful contribution to the prosperity of their families and country. I urge you to avoid reckless and dangerous lifestyle such as drunkenness, smoking, sexual immorality, which can predispose you to the many diseases and complications. You can only be resourceful to your family and Uganda if you stay healthy. Signed, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, President of Uganda.
As young people, we are delighted that our elders, our leaders, our president is willing to work with us, is willing to support us in the initiative of promoting peace. As young people, we have a responsibility, and I repeat, we have a responsibility to promote peace, to preach peace, to keep peace, and ensure that peace prevails. And on that note, I want to promise that as the youth movement for peace, as the voices of peace, we are committed and we are seriously going to make sure that this movement is vibrant across the country and ensuring that the voices of peace, the message of peace is out there and spreading in the whole country. And I believe that this will be a fundamental principle and landmark in the development and progress of our country.